Mic check one, two. Mic check one, two. All right, let's get it. Peace, peace, everybody. Peace. Bargani, Islam, Salam, Hetepu, Rahubat, Gino Lako Ninani, Chief Noble Bandele Elamin, back again for another video. All right. So today's video, we're going to be dealing with the Kingdom of Morocco and the Moorish Empire. Okay. So we're going to be looking at the Moorish or the Moroccan Empire versus the Kingdom of Morocco. Okay. And I think the reason why I want to discuss this is because of the, I'll say, discrepancy or the interpretation that we have about the Kingdom of Morocco and what it really is. Okay. So I want to get into that today. But before we get into any of that, please check out any and all of my books are on Amazon. Okay, dealing with the Moorish treaties 1 and 2. If you like to write things down, go get you a journal. Got one in the hardback. For all my Moors, we learning about the Canaanite connection and the origins of Abrahamic religion. So a lot of people, don't understand that, right? And we also got the guide to a religious marriage. So anyone who's looking to get married uh, and outside of the state, if you're concerned, if anybody's looking to do that and still have a legal remedy without going to the state, please check this book out. Even if you're not getting married, this is a good book to know in case you are. And then we also have the birth certificate explained, which is self-explanatory, but it's going to be dealing with how to avoid the birth certificates, and then how to document it yourself or through your religious institution. Okay, so like I say, all those books, check them out. Check out any and there's more of them on Amazon. All right, so you can also check me out on Facebook under Bandele Yobachiel, right, and also under Chief Noble Bandele on Instagram. All right, and I'm on TikTok as well. You can check all them out. Before we get into anything, also please like this video. If y'all already on here, I don't know how many people is watching right now. But please, like the video. Uh, please smash the subscribe button and check out all the other videos that I do have. That's lead up to this video right here. So, like I said, this video is about the Moorish Empire. Excuse me, about the Moorish Empire and excuse me. It's like I said, about the Moorish Empire and about the Moorish Kingdom, the Kingdom of Morocco versus the Empire of Morocco. That's what we're gonna get into today. And the reason why we're gonna discuss this is because um, there's a lot of Moors who are saying that the Kingdom of Morocco is not under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Okay. They're saying that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is only under the Empire of Morocco. Okay. So we let's look at this. Let's look at Morocco, okay, and look at the history all the way from its beginnings of being an empire or all the way up into being just a kingdom today. All right. So I just want to look at this because based on some of my information, we can come up with a maybe more clear uh, understanding as into relation that Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco, and the Empire of Morocco do have a strong relationship. Okay, we're gonna look at this though. I'm not gonna get into it too far ahead of myself. All right, I'm gonna look at first. I just want to look at early history, right? I just want you to look at early history of before a lot of Moors. This is a little Moorish history, right? We know that or it says we talks about Carthage, right? So the early history of Morocco, they started in Carthage, right? So Carthage is a Phoenicians, which are Canaanite, right? Which are, go back to a lot of what we find in the Circle Southern Quran, or what a lot of Moors speak about Moabites, Canaanites, these things of that nature. So Canaanites are Phoenicians, right? So let's look at this. The arrival of Phoenicians on the Moroccan coast, right, herald many centuries of rule by foreign powers in the north of Morocco. So Phoenician traders penetrated the western Mediterranean before the 8th century BCE, and soon after set its depots for salt and ore along the coast and up the rivers of the territory of present day Morocco. So I'm just laying this as the foundation that we understand that present day Morocco has a major influence on it by the Phoenician traders, which are essentially Canaanites, right? So we got now look, we talking about Morocco. We talking about the history of Morocco, right? And the history of Morocco is going into Mauritania. Okay, we talked about Carthage, and they got Mauritania. So we got Mauritania, the land of the Moors, also part of this Moroccan experience. Okay, so Mauritania was an independent tribal Berber kingdom on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa, corresponding to the north. Listen, corresponding to northern modern day Morocco. Okay, from about the 3rd century BCE. Okay, so they're talking about some of the earliest recorded history relates to Phoenician, Carthaginian settlements. Okay, so there's a heavy Moorish influence, if you will, on this region. Well over 2-3 thousand years ago. Okay, so when we look at that, right, let's go into early Islamic Morocco. Okay, yeah, I'm going. I'm diving in, y'all. I'm diving in, right? Let me see who in the building real quick. Let's see who in the building. Let's just see who in the building. All right, we getting into this. Y'all like y'all like and subscribe. All right. So let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Early Islamic Morocco. We're talking about the conquest of Maghreb. Now we talk at this point. At this point in Moroccan history, okay, we're talking about the 700s Common Era. So we're talking about 700 Common Era. We just left 2-3 thousand years ago. Now we're talking about maybe 2,000, less than 2,000 years ago. Okay, so 15, 14, 1,300 years ago. We're talking about Muslim conquest. So Islam and the Muslims and all that, when it comes to Moors, did not start until around, look, it said started in the middle of the 7th century and was achieved in the early 8th century. At this time, it brought both Arabic and Islam to the area. So before that, Moors practice something else. Now, I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole nother subject, but I just want you to understand that Islam came to the Moors later in their history. But it is key and important in history, okay? I'm not taking away from it, but we're putting it in perspective here, okay? So it says, although part of a larger, now I'm talking about Morocco, as part of a larger Islamic empire, Morocco was initially organized as a subsidiary province of Ifriqiya. Ifriqiya. Okay, now what is that? What is Ifriqiya? That don't that sound like Africa, right? A province of Africa, Ifriqiya, with the local governors appointed by the Muslim governor. Okay, so we talk about that. Okay, now we want to get a little bit further down. We know that the Berbers. I want to talk about the dynasties because this is when you start seeing Morocco blow up. So let's go. Let's go a few hundred. Let's go about 300 years into the present. 300 years into from there. Okay, we're talking about from 1060 to 1147. Okay, many of us Moors understand the Almoravid dynasty. Now, let's look at the Almoravid dynasty or empire. Okay, this empire is what a lot of the Moorish empire is based off of. Okay, you see the as it has expanded. This is the major expansion. You got Marrakesh, right? All that here, right? So the Almoravid Empire at its height stretched from basically Al Andalus. Look, so by this time, by 711, they done already came and conquered. So you got this kingdom all the way up into Europe, known as Spain. All the way over the whole side of West Africa on the northwest end, right? So they are a major movement. They were Berbers mostly. They succeeded in unifying Morocco. Okay, so this dynasty is important because it put together the unification of Morocco on a major basis. Okay, and then continuing this into what we are almost getting into today, the Almohad Caliphate, founded in the 12th century. Okay, much of the Iberian Peninsula. So you can see right here the Al Mohab Empire. Okay, basically stretched across the top of North Africa. So like Libya and all them were under that empire, right? Along with Spain, with the southern part of Spain. Okay, you know, as we know, the Moors from 711 to 1490 something, 1492, right? Con- Contained and controlled that area, but it was under these dynasties, right? It was under the Almoravid and the Almohads dynasties. Okay, so we see that the Moorish Empire has begun to expand. Okay, and when we talk about the Moorish Empire, we're talking about Morocco because there was a at the same time you had the Moorish Empire, right? In this time frame, um, you start having other. You still got Islamic empires because Morocco is not, even though Islam invaded Morocco, Moroccans or Moors or Berbers were not Muslim. They're not Arab. Okay, they weren't considered themselves Arab. The Berbers are the indigenous people of that area. So when the Arab people come in, like, and I know for a lot of people, when I speak about Arab, I'm talking about the ones that practice Islam that came out of the Arabian Peninsula and they started to bring Islam into Northern Africa. Now I know some of them was dark, so I'm not. I'm using the term Arab in the term of these are the people who brought Islam, right? So and they had a distinction between themselves and the Berbers, right? So I just want you to see like where uh, um, The Almoravids and the Almohads were more of a Berber Islamic regime versus just an Arab people in there. Okay, just understand that because there was still Islamic dynasties or in other areas of in North Africa, right? But for the sake of this, discussion, we're gonna talk about the Moroccan Empire, right? So we go all the way down, right? We go. Let's go to like the this right here. This right here is this dynasty right here is the dynasty that was in power when Christopher Columbus and the Europeans began to start really making a move. So this is like at the end of it. Like, okay, you got 1465, so like 1492. So like I would say like this dynasty right here, right? This dynasty right here was when Christopher Columbus. And you can see this dynasty, right? The Wattasid dynasty. This dynasty, it says Morocco was in decline when the Berber Wattasids assumed power. It says the family had been the autonomous governors since the 13th century, really. Okay, so they come after the Marinids dynasty. It says while the Marinid dynasty tried to repel the Portuguese and Spanish invasions and help the Kingdom of Granada to outlive the Reconquista, the Wattadids accumulated absolute power through political maneuver. When the Marinids became aware of the extent of the conspiracy, they slaughtered all Wattadids, leaving only Abdul Allah El Sheikh Muhammad ibn Yahya alive. He went on to found the Kingdom of Fez and established the dynasty to be succeeded by his son. Okay, so this dynasty was the dynasty that was right there around Christopher Columbus. So all this was going on while Morocco was in decline. So this kingdom in the 1400s was in decline. Okay, this empire allegedly, okay, was in decline at this time. So I want to give you just this information right here, right? Because I'm gonna swing back because what we're gonna discuss around a time of the Alawite dynasty. Okay, we're gonna be looking at them as the current Moroccan royal family. That's the Alawite dynasty. So from 1666 until today, this is the same dynasty. So the same dynasty that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was originally created, it's the same dynasty that's in power today. So that should give you some understanding right there that the Kingdom of Morocco or whatnot. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna bust it down too much. All right, let's go. Let me look. Let's see what's going on in the room. Let's see what's going on in the room. All right, let's look. Let's see what's going on in the room. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see what they got to say. Okay, so my brother is making the comment that the Moorish American is not the same people as the people of the Moorish Empire or Kingdom. Right. Now, I know you like to make that, and I get that. Now, my point to you, brother, Swindle, I mean, that's a crazy name in itself. Swindle Hoodwink. Um, the point of that being said, when you have people that have been calling themselves Moorish American or Moors in America, Moorish Americans, right? Um, do they not have a right to claim Moor? Because the term Moor was a term that was used generally speaking, and like not this show, but there are people in America that are considered black, Negro, or color that said they would not be black, Negro, or color and wanted to be considered Moor, and they were granted that power. So in America, the term Moor may have taken on a different meaning than what you're trying to say of the Moorish Empire and Kingdom. But at the same time, in the treaty, it does allude to people outside of the Empire of Morocco. So a lot of those Moors or considered Moors, I'm not to say if they were our descendants or not. I can't say that. Okay. I mean, there was a lot of Moors that were taken into slavery. So I can't make that blanket statement and say that they're not the same. But but anyway, that really ain't the conversation. This brother, this person continues to bring up that particular subject matter, and I don't know why they keep bringing it up when that's not what we're talking about. So let's look at this. We're looking at Morocco Empire because we're talking about brothers who says one thing about the Moorish Empire or the Moroccan Empire that that claim to be Moors, but are saying that the Moroccan Empire and the Moorish and the Moroccan Kingdom are not the same. And they're saying that you can't get any remedy from the Moroccan Kingdom because of certain things that we're going to get into, right? So it's saying that, and this we're going to talk about, the Moroccan Empire was one of the most important empires in the Mediterranean region, playing many influential roles in both the history of Europe and Western Africa. Okay, the date at which the empire started is up for debate, but it's generally accepted that it's 788. It has already started, and then it was officially abolished in 1957, existing for 1,169 years. Okay, so this is the argument. Oh, it was abolished in 1957. So we're gonna get into what happened before 1957, right? Because just to throw a little hint, we're talking about the French control of Morocco, which is why the Moors think that this is why um, the Kingdom of Morocco is not in power. But listen to this. It says the current country of Morocco, unlike Turkey is to the Ottoman Empire, it says it is its continuation under a new form since it retains many of its institutions, traditions, etc., just in a reform and modernized fashion. So, Morocco, based on this article, and based on, we're going to show you other things, right? But based on this particular incident, Morocco is still a continuation of the old Morocco. And it made a distinction between other type of empires, right? So for example, it says, unlike what Turkey is to the Ottoman Empire. So Turkey is not a continuation of the Ottoman Empire. Okay? And I think that's what happens when we look at other empires. Like, a lot of times we talk about the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire is gone, right? And the remnant of it is Turkey, which relates to the Turks. But Turkey is a whole nother form of power. It has really nothing to do at all with the Ottoman Empire. You see what I'm saying? When you look at Turkey today, its history is in the Ottoman Empire, and they can show you that in museums or whatnot. But their policy or the way the country is ran is not based on the Ottoman Empire, in a sense, right? Where it's saying that Morocco is, and you'll see that Morocco today is basically has maintained and retained much of its institution tradition, right? It has. It's just reformed in a modernized fashion. We're gonna look at that term because people think that the government of Morocco is one way. Okay, based on something we're gonna read in a minute, right? We're gonna get into that, right? I think so. All right. Talk about Islam. We're not gonna get into all that, right? But you can see like this is the extent of the caliphate, right? The Almohad caliphate, which is like the other part of like Muslims fighting on this end. You got the Moroccan Empire, right? And the Berbers, they fought. They didn't lay down. A lot of people think like the Arabs came in, but the Berbers never laid down. They did take in Islam, but they never laid down like that. Okay, so yes, but there were like the air, like, and this is what I'm saying. Like right here, just to get off now off track, but the sentiment of hate was growing in Morocco against Arabs. So what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. The Arabs that was coming into Morocco, they brought influenced Morocco. They brought Islam and these things of that nature. But the Berbers, they were separate. The Arabs and the Berbers were separate. The Berbers were treated unjust by these Arabs. So that region was very resistant to Arabs, as much as they could be. They are not the same. Okay. So let's keep going because I want to show you guys something else. What was I going to show you guys? Okay. To show you guys, let's look a little bit further. Let's look at, before we go off, and I'm gonna give you this definition too, because we're gonna see this term too. Because when we talk about the Moroccan Empire, because I want to discuss the Moroccan Empire, so you guys can understand what the Moroccan Empire was historically. Um, let's see if it come up. Okay, so if you look at this article, I'm trying to go back. Let me go back. Okay, this is talking about the Sharifian dynasties. Now, the Sharifian dynasties is important to know because it's that term is brought up. Sharifian, like you hear the word Sharif, Sheriff, Sharif. These are the rulers of Morocco since the 16th century. Okay, the Sharifs, the rulers of Morocco since the 16th century, when the modern principle was first established that they be Sharifs, descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, founder of Islam. So you're going to hear Sharif, and that's really the Islamic side to the empire. Okay, the cult of Sharif was introduced in Morocco under Idris II in the early ninth century. Okay, but went into abeyance. Sharifism became established in Morocco as a response to the crisis of the 16th century, occasioned by Christian efforts to extend the Reconquista of the Iberian Peninsula into Morocco. So basically, they're saying that the Sharifs became a reaction to, a response to the Spanish, Portuguese people coming in there with the reconquistadors, if you want to say, trying to bring Christianity beyond just in Spain, which they call the Iberian Peninsula, but they wanted to bring it into Morocco. Okay, so large scale tribal migrations in North Africa and the fragmentation of the Moroccan polity following the decline of the Marinid. We talked about the Marinid dynasty. Okay, it was the rise of the regional Sufi powers. Okay, and the conquest of Algeria by the Ottoman Empire in 1517. Right, so you got to understand that the Ottoman Empire was on the rise. The decline of the Moroccan Empire was around this time. Okay, now I want to say now it says both the Saadians and the Alwi, which is the current rulers, okay, were Alids and traced their descendant to Muhammad through his son-in-law Ali, but they were Sunni rather than the followers of Shiism. Okay, so I'm bringing this up because like the Alawi tribe, the Alawi dynasty is important. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. This Alawi dynasty is still in place. It's still in place. Like Turkey, like Rome, and all these places, those dynasties are over. Like the dynasty that existed for a lot of these countries are gone. In most countries, kingdoms are gone. There are, I think me and King looked it up. It was like 50 countries in the world that maybe still have kingdoms or whatnot. Most countries have turned into a democracy, which is what they try to make Morocco. Okay, which we gonna get into that. So as the let me look if this is the right one. Okay, this is the independent. Okay, so let's just look at this: the revolution of the king and the people. To put it short, Morocco by the early 1900s had lost its power and its lost its ability to be a governing. They were basically taken over by the French. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's see if it says something. Okay, this right here is what's this right here? This is the king, the revolution of the king and the people. So like this right here is when after France lost their control over Morocco, Morocco comes back into its own sovereign powers. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this real quick. I do want to say, let's look at the protectorate because for um, 30 something years, I would say, for about 30 something years, Morocco was dominated by France. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. European influence. Okay, let's look at European influence. This was the beginning of that, right? You got Portuguese efforts to control it in the 1500s. It did not affect the interior of Morocco, but after the Napoleonic Wars, North Africa became increasingly ungovernable from Istanbul by the Ottoman Empire. As a result, became a resort of pirates and local bays. Okay, the Maghreb also had a greater known wealth than the rest of Africa and a location of near the entrance of the Mediterranean. But this is where it says France showed a strong interest in Morocco as early as 1830. The Alawite dynasty succeeded in maintaining the dependence on Morocco in the 18th and 19th centuries in the face of Ottoman and European encroachment. But in 1844, the French conquered Algeria, and the Franco-Moroccan Wars took place. with the bombardment of Tangiers. Okay, so in 1856, they signed a treaty, the Anglo-Moroccan Treaty, which I do have that treaty in the treaty Moorish Treaty book, Treaty Two. Okay, it says that which was negotiated by British. Okay, so right here you see it the beginning like of the like influence of like you see them actually trying to colonialize Morocco. Okay, in the by 1830 they're trying to do this. Okay, now remind you at the same time, I think the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was signed again in 1836. So while this was going on, they was having battling and dealing with European influence in the region. Heavy. All right, heavy. So we looking at the Hispaniola Moroccan War. Okay, all these things was going on. We talk about the Jews in 19th century. Moroccan Jews started migrating. Okay, and later Casablanca for economic. So you see a major influence of Jews in the area back then too, right? They don't really want to talk about that, but there were a lot of Jews that were living in Morocco. So we're going up. So by the time we get to this time, right, from 1902 to 1909, Morocco's trade deficit increased. Okay, 14 million francs annually. So right now, Morocco is pretty much under French uh, denomination, French domination. So in early 1890s, you see what I'm saying? It says by 1900, Morocco was the scene of multiple local wars started, right? So it was very chaotic in Morocco. Okay. Now I'm trying to get to the point. It's saying the French. Okay. So this basically right here, right? The French and Spanish protectorate. This is basically when, from 1912 to 1956, the France and Spanish had control over Morocco to a major part. Okay. So let's go into this. Let's go into this. I'm not gonna go all the way, but it says that. So right here, let's go right here. It talked about because you got the Spanish and the French in here. The northern part became the French protectorate, and the southern part became known. Oh, I mean Spanish protectorate, and also known the Spanish colony. It says by Tangier Protocol in December of 1923, Tangier received special status and became an international zone between the war, right? So even like in the Second World War, they was under French and Spanish, um, domination. Okay, Europeans started moving in there. A lot of it was a Casablanca. You see that movie with what's his name, and they did the movie in Casablanca, right? Um, I'm trying to find the part. It says there's a treaty. Like you got the Treaty of Fez that started all this, right? The Treaty of Fez. So by 1952, you start seeing a independent Morocco, right? By 1952, 56, in late 1955, in the middle of what came to be known as the Revolution of the King of the People, which we was going to look at, Sultan Muhammad V successfully negotiated a gradual restoration of Moroccan independence within the framework of the French-Moroccan interdependence. The Sultan agreed to institute reforms that would transform Morocco into a constitutional monarchy with a democratic form of government. Now, this is where everybody get all crazy right here, because Morocco said that they was going to bring a democratic form of government. So it seems that when Morocco has reestablished itself, it has become a new Morocco. So it's no longer the empire of Morocco. Okay, but let's keep looking. In Morocco in 1956, in February, Morocco acquired limited home rule. Okay, further negotiations of full independence culminated in a French Moroccan agreement signed in Paris in March 1956. So on April 7, 1956, France officially relinquished its protectorate in Morocco. An internationalized city of Tangier was reintegrated with the signing of the Tangier Protocol in 56. So all this is happening in 1956. So France has relinquished all of it. Okay, the abolition of the Spanish protectorate and the recognition of Moroccan independence by Spain was negotiated separately and made final in April of 1956. Okay, so so after 1956, Spain and France did not have any control over Morocco. Now, listen to this. In the months that followed independence, Muhammad V proceeded to build a modern government structure under the constitutional monarchy. Very important. In which the Sultan would exercise an active political role. He acted cautiously, intent on preventing, how do you say that, istiglal, from consolidating its control and establishing a one party state. He assumed monarchy of 1957, and from that date, the country officially became known as the Kingdom of Morocco. Okay? So from that point on, Morocco was the Kingdom of Morocco. And this is another issue. And this is why, a lot of Moors talk about the flag, right? Because they say that Noble Drew Ali brought the flag to the Moors first, right? Because Morocco in the time, like we talking about in 1920s, right? We talk about Noble Drew Ali brought the flag in the 1920s. Well, we just read, we see that Morocco was under some type of independence. I mean, they were dependent on Spain and France. So they didn't really have dominion. So that flag really, was instituted by Noble Drew Ali first for the Moors, but he's showing your allegiance to Morocco, to the Moroccans. Okay, so in that time frame, the only people that was really being Moroccan really was those Moors that under Noble Drew Ali. And so like the brother on this thing, he was saying that Moorish Americans are not the same. Well, Noble Drew Ali, he made that claim. So whatever he as the claim that he made and was recognized as a Moor, we're talking about that as well. He he basically integrated this new philosophy that he had with the Moroccans, and he got certain information, um, and was able to connect to the Moors, to the Moroccan Empire, to the Moroccan government. Okay, so he had the Moroccan flag before the Moroccans reestablished themselves and brought it back, into existence in 1950s. But the fact is, the Moroccan government gained its independence from Spain and France. Okay, and it says that. Now it says in the months that follow, it says they did a constitutional monarchy in which the Sultan would exercise an active political role. He assumed monarchy on the fifth. Okay, and then it says that his rule saw significant political unrest. Right, the leaders, the years of lead. So for the years, he had a rule with an iron fist. Okay, it says aided by advisory council, he drew up a new constitution, which was approved overwhelmingly in the 1962 referendum. Under these provisions, it says the king remained the central figure in the executive branch of government. Okay, it says, but legislative powers was vested in a bicameral parliament and an independent judiciary was guaranteed. So, unlike a lot of democratic monarchies, the Moroccan Empire, the king remains, it says, the central figure of this branch. So, in all in all, the king is still the ruler of the sovereign government. It still rules with executive powers, basically. Okay, if you understand that, that means the king has a lot of power, and that king government is passed on from generation to generation, just like of old. So being the king, being the king is still there. It's reestablishing the Moorish government as it was. It still has its continuing powers that it had prior to Spanish and French control. Now, I know you like, how do you say that? Why you say that? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Let's look at some things. Let's look at how the government, let's look how the United States look at it. Because we look at that, you understand how they're looking at this stuff, right? So let's look at this. We right here. We at the relations with Morocco. This is the U.S. Department of State. It's U.S. relations with Morocco. So now they talk about this. They say U.S. Morocco relations. Morocco was one of the first countries to recognize the newly independent United States, opening its ports to American ships by decree of the Sultan, Mohammed III. So, okay, Morocco formally recognized the United States by signing a treaty of peace and friendship. We know this. Now it says, look, full diplomatic relations began in 1905. Morocco entered into it says, status of a French protectorate from 1912 to 1956. But look at what this says. And normal diplomatic relations resumed after the U.S. recognition of Moroccan independence in 1956. So when the Moroccan got their independence again, the United States resumed their relations from what? Their relations from when? Prior to 1912, 1956. So once they returned, they was able to return back. The United States is saying they got the longest, listen, they say they got the longest standing treaty. Okay? It says right here, it says that the signing of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, a document that remains the longest unbroken relationship in U.S. history. So the U.S. is looking at Morocco as being independent and resuming its relationship as if it was back before 1912. Okay, so if they're doing that, then what do you think that means with the treaty? What does that mean with the treaty? That means that the treaty is only being held by the Empire of Morocco, which is what my Moorish brothers and sisters are saying. Okay, they're saying that, but what I'm reading is saying that the U.S. recognized the recognition of the Moorish independence, the Moroccan independence. They're recognizing Morocco again as an independent state and continuing the relationship that they had. So they're looking at them as a continuation. They're the continuation of the Moroccan Empire. This is the vestige, the last vestige of the Moroccan Empire is the Kingdom of Morocco. Okay, so it's saying that right there. Okay, let's look at this. If you don't believe it, all right, let's look at this. Let's see what it says. Now, this right here is from the Presidential Library and Museum, Ronald Reagan's library. It says this is a state on the commemoration of the bicentennial of the Morocco United States Treaty of Peace and Friendship in 1987. Okay, so let's read this. Let's read what they're saying on this, because this is what how America is looking at Morocco after 1956. It says during the American Revolution, Morocco was one of the first states to acknowledge the independence of our young republic. Today, I want especially to applaud activities being undertaken by Americans and Moroccan friends to commemorate the bicentennial. This agreement, known as the Treaty of Marrakesh, was negotiated in that city of 1787, ratified in 1787. Right? It is the once again, it is the longest unbroken friendship treaty in the United States. Listen, in the United States and the what? Kingdom of Morocco. Kingdom of Morocco simultaneously will issue stamps to commemorate the special and historic relationship. Okay? The U.S. Moroccan relations has prospered and grown over time. Okay? So I'm trying to show you this, right? It says the United States has long supported and the moderate and constructive policies of my good friend King Hassan II. Why do they have this relationship still? They continue to be in a relationship. They continue to um, honor the treaty through the events planned and the celebration of the bicentennial. My hope is that more Americans will come to know the appreciation of close friendship with the King of Morocco. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that Morocco and the United States is continuing to look at Morocco, and I think that a lot of this has to do with the fact that that the United States needed Morocco to really stay in function the way it does. Morocco granted a lot of powers to the United States to be able to use in the Americas, and so it only makes sense that they would continue to keep Morocco. And it seemed like it was very important for Morocco to become a total sovereign nation again. Okay, total sovereign nation. So all right, let's go look. Let's go look, y'all. Let's go look at some things. Let's go look at some things. Let's see what they said. See what they say. Is there any comments in the section? Right. Anybody else got any comments? Right. So my thing is that I'm just trying to show y'all what really was going on. So let's look. Let's even look at this, right? Let's look at because let's even look at the Treaty Affairs, right? Because we want to break this down. We trying to break this down. I got a couple more places to go. But I want y'all to know some things. I want you to know everything. I'm trying to find the Treaty of Affairs. All right. The Treaty of Affairs is important because it was a treaty that concluded between France and Morocco. So this is the Treaty of Affairs is what was used to create the French protectorate. Okay, so it says under duress, they established on the 30th of March, right, the French protectorate. It said the treaty gave France the right to occupy certain parts of the country. It says with with the pretext of protecting the Sultan from internal opposition and to hold actual reigns of power while preserving the mask of indirect rule consisted of the Sultan and the Sharifian government. Under the terms, the French resident general held absolute power in external and internal affairs and was only one capable of representing Morocco in foreign countries. So now I brought that up because basically Morocco didn't have no power over itself from 1912 to 1956. So in that same frame, we got Noble Drew Ali bringing Moorish and Moroccan, ideology to America in that same time frame. So when they was down, the Moors here, what he did was he brought that Moroccan philosophy, that Moroccan perception. He brought that to a lot of what they call Negro black colored people, and he used that as a means to try to regain people's sovereignty or nationality, if I will, right? So he was doing that while the Moroccans were actually down on power. They didn't have no rule. Okay, so if you look, they became under the Franks. They was using French money, bailing them out. Okay, it says the Moroccan historian noted the more those at the top borrowed, the more those at the bottom were impoverished. So like they came in and really screwed up Morocco's economy. Morocco experienced a famine from 1913 to 1907. So like it was really a time of down for Morocco, right? It was a time that they was down, but that doesn't mean they was out. That's the thing. Morocco still was there. They just had been stripped. They had been stripped of their power, but the Moroccans were still there, right? So I just want you to understand that, right? I just want you like we just looking at how Morocco lost its power. The Treaty of Fez basically is what broke that power, and then you come into um, the proclamation of independence of Morocco. So after the Treaty of Fez and everything else, this is the proclamation of independence for Morocco. So Morocco is claiming independence. Let's look at what it says. Now that it's independent. This was done in 1944. So this was like 12 years before they actually became, you know. But this government was to guarantee the rights for all the people. See, it talked about the Allied forces landed in Morocco, French protectorate in Morocco since 1912. The Treaty of Fez, Operation Torch, Free France then retook control of a largely collaborationist colonial administration. Okay, Mohammed V was the de facto prisoner. He was a prisoner of war. Okay, the Proclamation of Independence of Morocco was originally drafted. Okay, attorneys of the party revised and amended it but it was saying so. So you begin to see like the beginning of Morocco coming out of his thing, right? Among the signatories were members of the resistance, the symbol of the free Morocco. Morocco was making this move. Well, I'm looking for the. Let me see something. Let me see something. I'm trying to see where. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's see. Okay, won't show me. Won't show me. That's not it. I'm trying to show you because we have the end of we have the independence, the total independence of Morocco, right? Let me find it. Let me see if I can find it. And like I said, y'all, please like this video. And I'm trying to find where it's. Okay, the revolution. There. So the revolution of the king and the people. The revolution of the king and the people. Anti-colonial nation liberation movement with the goal of ending French protectorate. Okay. Between the Moroccan Sultan and the Moroccan nationalist movement, okay, an effort to colonialize the colonialism, the efforts against colonialism and toward independence, particularly after the French authorities forced him into exile. August 20th is considered as a national holiday in Morocco in remembrance of the revolution of the king. After Morocco had regained independence from the French, the movement effectively ceased to exist as the Sultan managed to take control of the state. Meanwhile, the Moroccan nationalist movement was turned into an opposition party. So these are all the things that was going on, right? Before the actual the independence of Morocco. Now, as you see, you have Muhammad the Third, Muhammad the Fifth. These people are all part of the Alawite dynasty. Now, I want to this is the main thing about it all. This is the main thing about it all. Let's look at Muhammad the Sixth of Morocco. Muhammad the Sixth Morocco is not Berber, but a member of the Alawite dynasty. He acceded to the throne in 1999 upon the death of his king, Hassan II. He is a member of the Alawite dynasty. Let's look at the Alawite dynasty again. This dynasty rose to power in the 17th century. These are the same dynasty that created the treaty. My question is, why wouldn't we deal with this dynasty? It's the same dynasty that created the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. My question is, why would not the Alawite dynasty acknowledge and still hold power to the Moroccan treaty? Why wouldn't they? It's the same dynasty that created it that's still in power today. Okay? So look at it. We talk about Ishmael ibn Sharif. See, Ishmael of Sharif, those Sharifian Empire, the Sharifian Empire. So the Alawite dynasty are the vestiges of the Moroccan Empire. Okay? The Alawite dynasty that is still in power today. The Alawite dynasty that's still in power today is the sovereign of Morocco. We see that the United States observes Morocco. We see that the United States continues to look at Morocco, and they continue to acknowledge the treaty. So the Moors say, my Moorish brothers, this is not a slight. I'm just bringing information for us to look at, right? These are our lessons. These are our Moorish lessons 101, where we look at Morocco and we look at the Kingdom of Morocco. Yes, the Kingdom of Morocco and the Empire of Morocco are not quite the same. But unlike many empires that have fallen, this particular Moorish empire still has the tie, a strong tie to the kingdom, to the empire of Morocco. Okay. The kingdom of Morocco has direct ties to the empire of Morocco through the Alawite dynasty, which is still in power today. They have to be one of the longest, oldest dynasties that are intact in the world. Okay. Now let's look at this. Now I didn't put this up, but I do want to say this. Let's look at this and see what it says. Moorish American and Kingdom Kingdom of Morocco. Let's look at it. Let's see what it says. So, one of the primary tenets of the Moor Science Temple is to believe that African Americans are Moorish descent, specifically from the Moroccan Empire, according to Ali. Right? This is what they believe. Right? Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Now, I'm just pulling this up. I'm just pulling this up. Since Moorish Americans are not the same as the Moorish Empire, we get it, right? This is Moroccan World News. Okay, accept. Let's accept. The American religion that makes its members Moroccan. Now, this is the Moroccan World News. With temples in 15 states, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a religion that believes that all Moorish Americans are Moors, descendant of Northwest Africa. The movement's official website calls its followers believers of the Mohammedan religion, stating that their aim is to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity. The group emphasizes racial pride. Once labeled a sect or a cult by the FBI, Moorish American Temple of America contends, right? African America is a misnomer for the Moors in America. Noble Drew Ali, the founder himself. Okay, it's this is the Moroccan World News. Okay, so it says due to religious and racial disputes with the government and local residents, the group moved to Chicago in 25. The group has been since called the New Mecca. Okay, we know this. So they do the Fed, right? We understand all this, right? But this is in the Moroccan World News. So, I'm just looking at it. In March of 1990, the Moorish Science Temple of St. Louis delivered a Moorish resolution to Morocco, which was received by King Hassan II, minister of the Moulay Alawai. So this is the Alawai dynasty, right? Okay. So there is a relationship. The Morocco does know about Moors in America, right? Morocco does know about Moor in America. I don't. For me, I don't think that. What I'm trying to say is, I don't. I think that we are. We're not looking at. We're not looking at the elephant in the room here. Like, we've got a country, Kingdom of Morocco, which has that knows about the Moors here in America. Um, in some regards, have accepted Moors in America, um, but yet our relationship with the Kingdom of Morocco is kind of shaky because we are looking at this in a way that is not really conducive for us because we're separating the Kingdom of Morocco from the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. We're trying to say that the kingdom doesn't have any tie back, but yet it's the same dynasty that established. And if Morocco was to be totally severed, like the French and the they would have dismantled their government. They would have dismantled like they do in other countries. Like if you look at any African country, all these countries like Ghana, Nigeria, all these different places, their former government previous to colonialization is gone. They don't carry like Nigeria has a president. Ghana has a president. So they've given up their local or their traditional form of government. Well, Morocco, they still got Sultan. They still got the same people that was running it when George Watt. Listen, it's the same dynasty that was when George Washington was around. When George Washington went to Morocco to get permission, it's that same dynasty. They say it's the longest standing treaty in America, and this is the longest standing dynasty. So my question is, what would happen if the dynasty there was a new dynasty? Would that new dynasty um, take away from the treaty with America? Would they acknowledge the Treaty of America? Because at the end of the day, it's the Alawite kingdom, the Alawite dynasty that accepts the treaty with their executive power. So let's say, like I said, another dynasty in Morocco came in, and with their executive powers, they could perhaps not acknowledge the treaty. So I think that we need to look at the people in the dynasty and the people that's still in power in Morocco and connect those dots versus saying that Morocco is no longer it. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, man. I just want y'all to. I just want us to think and study, and not necessarily take, what is given to us. All right. So much appreciation to everybody for checking it out. I hope this was not just entertaining, but I hope that you guys found some education in this. Hope you found some kind of understanding in this, right? So if you guys got any questions, um, any thoughts on this, let's look. Let's see if any more. If you guys got any more questions, any other thoughts on this, right? Because, like I said, I've been looking this up for the last couple of days. I've been watching like different videos with different Moors, discussing um, discussing these things, and truthfully, it would be a really nice thing if the Moors did try to pick up the relationship with Morocco. Um, Me and King was talking about the Treaty of Algiers. And there's a group of Moors that were discussing the Treaty of Algiers and making reference to that. And another thing about Morocco was when Morocco got free, so did Algeria. So we got the Treaty of Algiers, but let's look at Algeria because Algeria is another African country that let's put it in here that that came through Morocco, like Algier, Morocco, Algeria. They this I was looking this up the other day, Morocco and Algeria, like like the Treaty of Algiers, like these treaties that like the Moors are trying to use, like they're looking toward the French and English and these countries. They're looking toward those countries to try to see if they can get some kind of remedy and try to get and to become an ally with those countries. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't have anything personally against England or France personally, but I also know that England and France were heavy in slave trade. You know, a lot of our ancestors, you know, were had problems or part of the slave trade by one of those guys. So for me, it's like not looking toward the French or the English as much, you know, as an ally, but actually looking at Algeria, looking at Morocco as allies, because these countries are, um, you know, part of the UN, everything, right? So let's just look at it though. I know that like Algeria and Morocco haven't been on the best terms, but and I know they're probably beefing about because Morocco wanted the Western Sahara as part of Morocco, you know, and Algeria doesn't necessarily like that, right? So there is a issue, but I'm looking for the article that brought them together, like Morocco. Let's look at it. I'm just gonna put it Algeria's. Uh, let's see, from France, right? I put that in wrong. Let me see. It says all right. Let's just see. So in 1962, Algeria declared independence after 132 years of French occupation. So like this Algerian country, like Algeria is not the same. Like Algeria, in the way that it's got us like it doesn't have the same, like it doesn't have the same history as Morocco. It didn't lose its power. It's like it did like Morocco lost power, but like Algeria lost total, like they were under like France for a long time. An important, let's see where it says it. Let's see where I'm looking for. Maybe I can't find it though. I can't find it, but Algeria, the Algerians are I think under a different. Hey, let's look at Algerian government. Okay, the Algerian government is like different. See, like they have a constitutional presidential republic, whereas the president of Algeria is the head of state, while the prime minister of Algeria is the head of government. So right here, like I want you guys to look at this. I want you guys to look at this. See, there is a difference between Morocco and how their government is set up. The fact that Morocco is still the monarchy is the major part of government. It has executive powers in Morocco, where Algeria has taken on a democratic republic. So it has lost its form of government prior to French colonialization. It has. It's not the same. So, in my for me, Algeria may not be able to honor the Treaty of Algiers the same way that Morocco can still claim the Treaty of Peace and Friendship with America, because it's still the government. That government is still in power. Where this is not a dynasty. Algeria is no longer a dynasty. It's no longer under these things. It's under a democratic, uh, uh, a democratic government. It's a democratic republic. Okay, the president has power. The president gets voted out. Morocco, there is no president. That dynasty will rule until there's no more heirs left, or there is a upheaval in government and there's a coup or something of that nature. But I mean, as far as just how government goes to concession from one person to another in Morocco, it hands down to from the dynasty. Algeria is a democratic country. So when the Moors, when a lot of Moors say, oh, that Morocco is a democratic country now, it's not. It's ran by a king. It's ran by the same king in power that's been in power since 1666. So the treaty is intact. The Kingdom of Morocco has is the last vestige of the Empire of Morocco. Okay, that's what I got to say. So if y'all like that, please smash the like button and you know become a member. You guys become a member of the temple. Y'all check out the temple, Temple of New Kemit. Y'all can give me a call at the number on the screen, and we can continue to build and get this understanding, so we can get understanding of this treaty, how the treaty is working. If you guys haven't got the treaty 1 and 2, please pick that book up. Pick those books up, and like I said, check out any of the other books that I have on Amazon. All right. So with that being said, I do appreciate everybody coming in and out, and I'm gonna get out of here for the day. All right. So y'all, peace and love.